I work at a facility that cleans up after paranormal events. We're told never to touch the blood that moves. Most people have no idea what happens after a haunting ends. After the last scream dies down, the family moves out, the priest drives off, or the ritual supposedly closes the portal. That's where we come in. I work for a private cleanup outfit that operates under the name Event Neutralization and Sanitation, Class 4 and below. But internally, we call ourselves the moppers. We're the ones who come in after an exorcism, a summoning gone wrong, or a failed seance. We're the people who are brought in to clean what can't be described in official police reports. The job pays too well. Too fast. No background checks, no references. Just one interview, a waiver, and a set of rules you're told to memorize before your first assignment. And one rule is always bolded, underlined, and highlighted in red. Do not touch the blood that moves on its own. I didn't believe in the supernatural before this job. I figured we were just glorified crime scene cleaners that dealt with drug-induced hallucinations or occultist graffiti. But that changed on my fourth job. We were sent to a church in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. The locals had abandoned it after a failed deliverance. That's how they phrased it. Inside, the air was thick with incense, and the walls were scratched up with hundreds of tiny claw marks, like a dozen rats had been trying to claw their way out of the stone. No bodies. Just streaks of blood running across the ceiling in impossible directions. That's when I saw it. A single drop of blood, floating in the air like a balloon underwater, wobbling gently, following the edge of my flashlight. It pulsed once, and I swear it turned to face me. I didn't touch it. My partner did. He's gone now. But the drop still comes to my apartment sometimes. I see it in the mirror. Floating behind me. Waiting. We're not allowed to speak about the entities, but you pick up patterns. There's the long streaks that crawl up staircases on their own. The stains that whisper if you bend too close. The ones that reappear after being mopped 5 or 6 times, each time darker, thicker, more alive. The worst jobs are the ones that look clean. Pristine rooms with a single black handprint on the floor, still wet. And you wonder, whose hand was that? Where's the body? What was here before? And worse, what's still here now? They give us a handbook on our first day. It's soaked in lamination and smells faintly of salt and ammonia. You're supposed to read it once, cover to cover, and then destroy it. Because according to management, knowing the rules too long makes them obsolete. Here are the ones I can still recall clearly. The rules of Class 4 Paranormal Cleanup. 1. If the blood on the ceiling forms words, do not read them aloud. 2. Do not clean up any stain that wasn't there when you arrived. Report it. Leave it. Walk away. 3. If a door appears that wasn't on the floor plan, knock twice and wait. If it knocks back, leave immediately. 4. Never, ever touch blood that moves. 5. If you hear your name whispered from inside a drain, cut the water. Don't respond. 6. If a second version of you enters the room, mop around them. Don't look directly at them. Do not ask questions. 7. When the job is done, leave everything behind. Never take anything from the site, not a rag, not a button, not even a glove. Last night, I broke Rule 7. I didn't mean to. I had been cleaning up a nursery where something had crawled up from the crib, judging by the handprints on the ceiling and the crushed toys. It was my 5th job that week, and I was exhausted. I didn't notice the small stuffed rabbit that stuck to my glove until I was already home. It had one button eye missing and a red thread hanging from its mouth. I thought it was just a toy. That night, I woke up to find muddy, child-sized footprints on my bedroom ceiling. They weren't mine. And neither were the teeth marks in the side of my pillow. I don't think I'll be working much longer. Last shift, I found my name written in blood on the inside of my van's windshield. I hadn't parked under anything. There was no one around. Just that floating drop, hovering by the rearview mirror. Watching. Waiting. I'm writing this because someone else will be hired after me. They always are. The company has endless names and infinite offices in places that don't show up on maps. If you're reading this, and you see a job posting that pays too well and asks no questions, don't take it. If you already did, burn this letter, quit, and move far away from water, shadows, and reflective surfaces. Because if you mop up the wrong memory, it doesn't stay dead. It follows. And the blood that moves? It always finds its way back. The blood showed up again last night. Not just a smear or a drop, a trail, like something small and wounded had dragged itself across the floor of my apartment. It started at the balcony door and led to the foot of my bed, where it simply stopped. No prints leaving. No drag marks returning. Just a thick, red ending. Like it had arrived, stared at me while I slept, and vanished into the air. I would have chalked it up to paranoia, a stress-induced hallucination, maybe, but when I tried to mop it up, the stain hissed. Actually hissed. Like oil dropped on fire. Then it slithered under my bed. I didn't look. I didn't dare. You start to understand how haunted places work after enough shifts. It's not about the ghosts, it's about the leftovers. The residue. The emotional rot. When something terrible happens in a space, it doesn't just echo, it incubates. And some places don't want to be cleaned. Some places bite back. Like the house we were sent to outside Chicago, the one we only referred to as job number 143. The family had disappeared mid-meal. Plates still full. Lights still on. The neighbors said they heard music playing all night long, even though the stereo had been smashed and burned in the backyard. We found a trail of piano keys leading to the basement, each one bloody and embedded into the floor like teeth. They pulsed. One of my teammates, Elena, bent down to touch one. We never found her body. Just her boots, neatly placed at the foot of the stairs, upside down. 3 days later, we got a new shipment of supplies at the facility. Inside one of the cleaning crates was a note. It was written in her handwriting. It doesn't like silence. We played static on every job after that. The jobs have been coming more frequently lately. Almost nightly. It's like something's ramping up, like the world is unraveling at the seams and the things that were supposed to stay buried are starting to seep through. A school, where chalkboards bled. A highway, where the road wouldn't let you leave until you confessed something you hadn't told anyone in 10 years. A bathtub, where the water reflected another room entirely. And through it all, that blood. That same floating drop. It always appeared. Sometimes on the ceiling. Sometimes on the mirror. Once, on the inside of my left lens, moving between the glass and my eye. Watching. It doesn't need you to touch it anymore. Just noticing is enough. I haven't slept in 2 days. I tried locking all the doors, turning every mirror to face the wall. I covered the smoke alarms with tape so I could light incense, trying to copy what I'd seen shamans do on a cleanup call in New Mexico. But it didn't stop what happened at 3:14 a.m. this morning. That's when my phone turned on by itself. Not a ring, not a message. It just lit up and began recording. No sound. No video. Just a timestamp. 3:14. 3:14. 3:14. 3:14. Repeated 143 times. That was Elena's case number. I've started hearing things now. Not voices, not clearly, but patterns. A scraping behind the fridge. A thump from inside the wall. The clink of wet ceramic in my sink at night. I haven't used the sink in days. I'm scared too. Because that's where the whisper came from on my first job. And I swear I heard it again yesterday. Don't leave it here. It follows. There's a truck that parks outside my building some nights. Unmarked. Windows tinted. Always humming, like something inside it is breathing slow and heavy. It doesn't drive away. It just fades. 1 second it's there. The next, gone. Last time it disappeared, I found a small white cloth folded on my doorstep. Inside it was a thumb. Wearing my class ring. I think the company knows. I think they always did. We're not cleaners. We're bait. Mops and gloves and masks don't protect us, they mark us. Tag us like cattle. Every stain we wipe away, every handprint we erase, every whisper we ignore, we're collecting something. Carrying it forward. Taking it somewhere it wasn't supposed to go. And now it's here. It's in my walls. It's under my bed. It's behind my eyes every time I blink too slowly. If you've ever seen an online job post that sounds too vague, offering high pay for containment, event response, or residue mitigation, run. If you apply and you get a knock at your door from someone in a pale gray uniform, don't open it. If your faucet drips blood that doesn't hit the floor, leave the house. Burn it if you have to. Because this isn't just a job. It's a cycle. The blood that moves, it's not trying to hurt you at first. It's trying to learn you. And once it does, there's nowhere left to mop. I haven't left the apartment in 3 days. The last time I opened the door, I wasn't sure what I saw in the hallway was real. It looked like my building. Same carpet. Same water-damaged ceiling tile. But the lights were pulsing, not flickering, pulsing, in perfect sync with my breathing. The hallway stretched far too long, like someone had dragged the blueprint in Photoshop and never let go. And at the very end, barely visible through the distortion, there was a mop standing upright on its own, dripping something black that steamed when it hit the floor. I closed the door and shoved my couch in front of it. I haven't opened it since. The blood isn't hiding anymore. It slides up my bedroom walls like ivy. It waits on my bathroom mirror until I blink. It changes shape, writing words I refuse to read. Once, it wrote my mother's name. The next day, I saw her obituary on the news, dated 3 years ago. She's still alive. I called her to be sure. But as the phone rang, I heard her voice answer from behind the wall. "I forgive you." Then silence. When I finally got her on the line, she told me she hadn't spoken to me in weeks. Said I sounded strange last time we talked. That I kept asking her things I should already know. That I said something that made her cry, but she wouldn't repeat it. I don't remember calling her, but the phone log says I did. At 3:14 a.m. I'm starting to think the jobs don't stop when you clock out. I used to believe the stain stayed behind. That once the mop hit the bucket, the memory was gone, burned, neutralized. But the blood isn't the memory. It's the carrier. The delivery system. The invitation. We're not cleaning these places. We're spreading them. Every contaminated rag. Every reused brush. Every pair of boots that walked through a hallway where time twisted and came out the other end still ticking. We're walking petri dishes. And I think whatever we're carrying, it's learning. Fast. 2 nights ago, I dreamed of a job we never did. A long corridor made of teeth. A library where all the books were written in screaming. A child's room where the mobile above the crib was made of tiny, severed hands. In the dream, I mopped and mopped and mopped, but the floor was always wet. The bucket never emptied. And at the end of the room stood a version of me. But taller. Wrong. Wearing my suit, my badge, my expression. But with black blood seeping from its ears, and an extra pair of eyes under its jaw. It said, in my voice, "You forgot something. And now it remembers you." I've gone through every item in my apartment. Tossed what I could. Burned what I couldn't explain. But the blood won't leave. It pulses under the paint. Bleeds through the plaster. I can hear it sloshing behind the drywall, like it's trying to form a body. And last night, it almost succeeded. Around 2 a.m., I heard the sound of feet on the tiles. Bare feet. Wet. I stayed perfectly still in bed, eyes barely open, watching my bedroom door slowly creak open, even though I had bolted it shut. A figure walked in. Not fast. Not threatening. Just dripping. Its body was formless at first, liquid shadows wrapped in skin-colored tension. But as it approached, its shape began to mold, fingers, arms, a face, and all of them looked just like mine. Except wrong. Like someone trying to recreate me from memory and forgetting the details. It leaned close. And whispered. "There's still a job left to finish." Then it turned, and walked into the wall. Literally. No noise. No resistance. Like it was never there. Except now the wall is soft. Like flesh. I don't know if I'm infected, cursed, haunted, or just unraveling. I don't know if any of us ever left that first job. Maybe we're still in it, the real job. Maybe the cleanup never ends because we were never meant to survive it. All I know is this. The blood isn't the worst part. It's the memories that come with it. The things we tried to forget. The screams we didn't hear because we had earbuds in. The rooms we skipped because we were too tired. The names we saw written in blood that we didn't say out loud, but remembered anyway. It's all coming back now. It's all bleeding through. And I'm not sure who I'll be when it finishes. If this message finds you, if it even can, then maybe there's still a sliver of me left that wants to be saved. Maybe I'm writing this from a memory and not a room. Maybe this has already happened. But if you're new to the job, if you're holding a mop and smelling ammonia that's too sharp and coppery to be normal, don't clean what's still breathing. Don't look at the blood if it looks back. And whatever you do, don't let it remember your name. Because once it does, you become the next stain.